Let us start with the problems on waves in a string, that is, in particular, transverse waves. First question: the amplitude of vibration of any particle in a standing wave produced along a stretched string depends on. So, in the case of a standing wave, the amplitude of the particle depends on what factor is being asked. So, what is the standard equation for a stationary wave? Y equals 2 times a cos of kx into sine omega t. So this whole term represents amplitude. Therefore, amplitude is dependent on amplitude of the superposing wave and also position of the wave. That means it is independent of frequency, time period, so is time. So it depends only on location of the particle. So x matters. What is the distance? What is the value of lambda from the point of reflection or the any starting point? So at the point of reflection, if a node is formed, its value will be 0. Again, multiples of lambda by 2 nodes are formed. In that way, the amplitude of the particle depends upon its location. Next question. A stretched wire will produce a note of very high frequency, then the nature of the wire is. So it's given that the frequency produced by a stretched wire is very high. Then what is the nature of that wire? We know that frequency in a stretched string nu equals so n by 2L into square root of tension divided by mass per unit length mu. Since it's vibrating with a high frequency, nu is large. The left hand side is large. How can we get left hand side large? Nu is directly proportional to tension. Therefore, tension must be large. And this term in the denominator must be small to boost it up. So L must be small and mass per unit length mu, it should also be small. Then which of the option reads these three conditions? Let's check one by one. So thin and short wire of light material under high tension. Yes, it is thin and short. L must be small means it's a short wire under high tension. Tension is large and thin. Thin means mass per unit length is very small. So option A is correct. We can also compare with the other option. Thick and short wire. When it is thick, mass per unit length increases. Also it is short. So mass by L is very large. So it can't be the option. Thin and long wire of light material. It should not be a long wire. It must be a very small piece. So option C is wrong. Similarly, thin and short, first two conditions are correct, but heavy material, it should be a thin material. So option D is also wrong. Option A is right. Next question. The property required for propagation of transverse wave is which property of the medium is required for the propagation of transverse wave? Is it longitudinal strain, lateral strain, shearing strain, or Poisson's ratio? Obviously, longitudinal strain is not required for a transverse wave. How about lateral strain? That's also wrong. This is wrong. Shearing strain is actually needed for transverse wave. In the case of liquids and solids, they can't withstand shearing strain. That is the reason why there can't be transverse wave in liquids and gases. So transverse waves can only be in solids or in the case of surface of a liquid. On the surface, shearing strain is present. So the condition is shearing strain. Next question. A wave equation which gives the displacement along the y direction is given by y equals 10 power minus 4 sine 60t plus 2x, where x and y are in meter and t is in second. This represents a wave. So let us look into that in detail. Let me consider the wave equation. Y equals 10 power minus 4 sine of 60t plus 2x, where all these x and y's are in standard units. So compare this with the standard equation. What do I get? Amplitude of this equation is 10 power minus 4, and angular velocity omega is 60, that is coefficient of t, and coefficient of x will give you propagation constant k, and k is equal to 2. Since these options are speaking wavelength, frequency, and velocity, let me first calculate wave velocity. Wave velocity v is equal to omega by k, that is 60 by 2, or that is 30 meters per second. Let me also calculate the value of frequency and the wavelength. So from this omega value, I can write omega is 60 radians per second, or 2 pi f equals 60 radians per second, or frequency f equals 30 by pi hertz. The last option is calculating wavelength. So making use of propagation constant k, we can calculate lambda. Lambda equals 2 pi by k, as k is 2 pi by lambda. So I can write 2 pi by 2. So its wavelength is pi meters. Now let's compare these answers with the options given. It's traveling with the velocity of 30 meters per second. Yes, correct. Its velocity is 30 meters per second in the positive x direction. But actually, the wave is traveling in negative x direction, as signs of the coefficients of x and t are same here. Therefore, it is traveling along negative direction. So option A is wrong. Its wavelength is pi meters, of frequency 30 by 3 pi, which is actually 10 by pi, which is wrong. We have got it to be 30 by pi hertz. Option C is wrong. Option D is obviously wrong, as it is given 2 into 10 power minus 4, but actually it's 10 power minus 4. So option B is correct. Next question. A cord attached to a vibrating fork divides it into 6 loops when its tension is 36 newtons. The tension at which it will vibrate in 4 loops is, what's given here? This is the initial case. I will speak in terms of frequency, as frequency remains constant. This is length L. So frequency can be written as, what is the formula for frequency of a string which is fixed at both the ends? 1 over 2L into root of T by mu, and it depends upon number of harmonics. So I can introduce that as N. So frequency remains same, and that can be written as V by lambda, or V equals velocity of the sound in given medium remains constant. So I shall make use of that. So V equals lambda into nu, that is equal to, expression for velocity is root of T by mu. Call this as equation 1. In the second case, for 4 loops, before that, let me calculate the value of wavelength in terms of L. So for 6 loops, L is equal to 6 loops. Wavelength can be written as 6 into lambda by 2. So it is 3 lambda equals L, or we can write lambda equals L by 3 in this first equation. So what do I get? Velocity V equals lambda into nu, that is L by 3 into nu, equals square root of T by mu. I will call this as 1. The next possibility is that there must be 4 loops. So length L consists of 4 loops. So 4 into some lambda prime by 2. Therefore, it will be 2 times lambda prime, or lambda prime equals L by 2. Substitute this in the velocity expression in the second case. Now velocity becomes equal to V equals lambda prime into nu, that is equal to square root of T by mu, but this is T prime, unknown tension. Substitute for lambda prime, L by 2 into nu equals root of T prime by mu. Call this as equation 2. Now from the fact that velocity will remain constant in a given medium, we can equate 1 and 2, or we can also divide equation 1 and 2 Let me divide 2 by 1 so that I get L by 2 and L new cancels. What remains is 3 by 2, that is equal to square root of t prime by t. Square it on both sides. So we get 9 by 4 equals t prime by t. This implies t prime equals 9 times t by 4, or 9 into tension is 36 by 4, that is equal to 81 newtons. Option D is correct.